Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. How are you? Excuse me. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know who you are. Let us know where you're from in the comments. And we're going to join in today with all of you who comment in, inshallah. So let us know who you are. Where are you from? And we will bring to you today the stories of the week, the positive stories that I've selected today. I am Sister Nicola, and each Monday we bring me or myself, myself or my sister Tammy. She will do it next week, so we switch each week. And we bring to you all the positive news that we can find from our website, because, as you know, the world is full of hard news stories, and we want to just bring to life the positiveness, especially of what Muslims are doing around the world, because this doesn't get shared nearly enough. So say Assalamu alaikum to us in the comments. I will give you all a shout out when I see you. And we will have a bit of interaction as well with all of you as well, inshallah. I am originally from the UK, and I've been a Muslim now for 13 years. And I work for this brilliant company, so you can check us out on our website, www.aboutislam.net. Tell us where you're all from. I'll wait a few more minutes and then we'll get started, inshallah. Okay, no one wants to speak today. Come on. It shouldn't just be me, by the way. You have to talk to me as well. Come on now. Let's see where you're all from. It's nice to know each other. It's nice to get to know each other. It's nice to say Assalamu alaikum to your sister here who's doing all of this, bringing you all the good news. Come on, say Assalamu alaikum. This is the Islamic thing to do, by the way. Okay, I'm going to start with the first story, which is a very nice one. It's an interfaith story, so it's not necessarily about Islamic one, but it involves Muslims in Sweden. So if we have any of you joining us from Sweden, Assalamu alaikum. This is a very nice story. The local Muslim community in the town of Vaxjo, my Swedish is not great, so I apologize. It's in the town of Vaxjo in Sweden. They have asked permission to perform the call to prayer, or the azan. Now, as you know, in most European countries, you have to get permission for these kind of things, not just for the prayer, but for anything that may have a loud voice over the speakers. Most places want you to seek permission for this in Europe. So they have asked for permission to do this in this town in Sweden, and they have a very unlikely ally by the name of Bishop Frederick Medus. He is really looking forward to hearing the great sound of the azan, and he said it will be wonderful to listen to this with the bells, the church bells. Now, I'm from the UK, and we hear the church bells when it's a wedding. We hear them when it's Sundays, and on great occasions. And I have to say, I really enjoy listening to church bells because it's very joyous. So he is saying the same, but he wants to listen to the azan alongside the church bells. So this is a really nice feeling that the bishop wants to feel this call to prayer as well. And he's basically saying that to get, he wants to get people of different faiths and different backgrounds to understand that actually we are the same. There's nothing different really about us, and this is really what it's all about at the end of the day. So God bless Bishop Frederick Medjers in Voxjo in Sweden, and inshallah the Muslims there will soon be able to have the call to prayer announced, like most of us take for granted. So that is a really nice thing to start with, I think, because interfaith is very, very important. We have to be close to everyone so that everyone can understand each other and we can have a peaceful harmony, of course. Tell us where you're from. Come on, I'm waiting for your comments and your salams. So please go ahead. Right, say Assalamu alaikum. Hello, Saif. That's nice. Saif is the first one, mashallah. Jazakallah khair, Saif. I hope you're doing well. Where are you from, Saif? Let us know. The next story is a great story of a Muslimah in the USA. She had a dream of becoming a news reporter, or a news presenter. And she's always had this dream for a long time. So she applied to many news stations around the world, but of course, not around the world, around the country, around the USA, sorry. But she is very disappointed because not many of them got back to her at all. So what she had to do was nearly give up her dream because she felt that nobody wants her hijabi woman to present the news in the US. So she was going to give up this dream and go to work in production, so behind the scenes, because she can get a lot of jobs from behind the scenes. So what happened was she finally got an offer from a news station in Illinois, Western Illinois Station, I think that's the name of it. And she's made history. She's the first hijabi who's going to present the news on a mainstream news channel in the USA. So congratulations to Tahira Rahma. Well done for making history. And this is a great story. Never give up on your dreams, because we have to put the work in. And she did. She applied to many, many stations. But just at that moment, Allah came and gave her her dream. So this tells us that Allah will answer us, but we have to have patience. And this is a great lesson for that, I think. So never, never, ever give up on your dreams. Keep working at them, and Allah will answer you when the time is right for you. That's what you've got to understand. So, sorry, my colleague, Sister Temi, she's just told me, because I can't see all the messages, so I apologize if it looks like I have to read from my phone as well. So I'm saying salam to Ahmed from Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed. How are you today? Inshallah, you're doing good. Assalamu alaikum, sister. You're from Africa. You can borrow my scarf anytime, sisters. Alhamdulillah. And assalamu alaikum, Saif. You're from Egypt. I love Egypt. I really do. It's a very, very beautiful country. So the next story that we are going to cover is it's quite a big one, but as you know, this month, February, is Black History Month in the US, in Canada, and I think in the UK as well. So on our website, if you go to our website, you are going to find several stories of great Black Muslims on there who have inspired us. And what we know about the great Muhammad Ali, who's fantastic, of course, mashallah, and we know about the great Malcolm X, both of them great men in their own rights. But what about the men who brought Islam from Africa to America? What about these men? So we have a great article which we're going to pin up in a minute, and I'm going to go through them because there's 6 of them. Assalamu alaikum, Deborah. How are you? Where are you from, Deborah? So on this article, we find out about 6 African Muslims who brought Islam to America in probably the worst possible circumstances, but still they did. So this shows us that actually Islam has been in America for a very long time. The first one is called Bilali Muhammad, and he was born around 1770 in the area known as Guinea and Sierra Leone today. These are the countries that it is today. He was an elite of the Fulani tribe. He knew Arabic and he had great knowledge of Hadith, Tafsir and Sharia matters. Because he was educated, he was allowed to rise in status in the slave community. The next one is Ayuba Soliman Diallo. He was born in Senegal, also known as Job Ben Solomon. He was sold into slavery as a result of confusion. And he wrote some memoirs when he was a slave in Maryland in the US. He actually returned home eventually, so that was a good news for him. The next one was called Yaro Mahmoud. He was born in Guinea, and he was born in 1736 and died in 1823. He died as a free man, I have to say that. He arrived in Maryland as well at the age of 14 with his sister, and he was knowledgeable in Arabic, and he practiced Islam openly until death. Because I think a lot of the history, and I'm no expert of course, but a lot of the history, many were forced to convert to Christianity when they arrived in America. But he was brave and he openly practiced Islam. The next one was Abdul Rahman Ibrahim ibn Sori, and he was born in Guinea, and he was known as a prince amongst slaves. He was the son of King Sori from the village of Timbo, and he was a military leader. He became a slave as a result of an ambush, and he worked on, for 40 years as a slave, and he married and he had children there. What was sad about him though was on his release, he decided to go back to his own country, and he died on the trip back, unfortunately. The next one is Omar ibn Sayyid, and he was born in Senegal in 1770, and he was captured in 1807. He was known to be an Islamic scholar, and he was very knowledgeable in many fields from arithmetic to theology, and he wrote several Arabic texts. And the last one mentioned in this article is Salih Bilali, born in Mali, and he was captured in 1782. His last words on his deathbed was actually the Shahada, so mashallah. These were great men, and they obviously brought Islam to the USA when they were captured as slaves. Some of them managed to go back, some of them didn't. But before the great Muhammad Ali and before Malcolm X, we had these men who brought Islam. So Islam has been in America for a very long time. So many people might not know anything about Islam in America, but it doesn't mean to say that it wasn't actually existing in America, because it was. So that's a great article, and I recommend that you read it and that you can share it out as well, inshallah. Give us a salam. We don't see. I don't know if there's some kind of time delay. I don't see many. So tell us where you're coming from, everybody. It's nice to know where you are. The next story actually is from Egypt, and it's a beautiful story. This really touched me a lot, and I think this is really symbolizes what Islam is all about. There is a butcher in Cairo, and he has his butcher shop near the cancer hospital where they treat the children. And he noticed that the families from different places in Egypt, so not just in Cairo, they are come in far, and they have to rent an apartment while their children are seeking treatment for the cancer. So he decided, it's hard enough that cancer, and through chemotherapy and through radiotherapy and through surgery. So he decided to rent a flat right next to the hospital, buy it, and he furnished it with very nice furnishings, and he's drawn on the walls several memorials for the kids, and there's toys and games, and he makes meals for these families, and he's put beds in there and everything, and he just gives the flat to them for free for the duration of the child's treatment, because on top of everything, he is having to they are having to pay for all this. He feels they shouldn't have to pay extra for accommodation. So I think this is a beautiful, beautiful story. As a cancer survivor myself, I know how hard it is as an adult. So I can never imagine, and inshallah I never will have to imagine, what it's like to be a parent having to go through, watching your child go through the hardship of this treatment. So what he's doing, mashallah, may Allah reward him abundantly, because it's a really beautiful thing that he's doing, and that's real Islam right there. That's what we should all be striving to do. So check out his story, because it really is a beautiful story, mashallah. We have a football story alert now, and it's not about Mohamed Salah. We know so many of you love Mohamed Salah, and he's a fantastic footballer. He's very humble, he's very kind, he's doing great things to show what real Islam is all about. Of course, he's playing for Liverpool FC, which I have a tiny soft spot for since being a teenager. But this story is not about him, although you can find several stories about him on our website. This story is actually about another great footballer who plays for Real Madrid, and his name is Cristiano Ronaldo. Did you ever hear of him? I'm sure you've heard of him. He's very, very famous, of course. So many of you may know, he has spoke out about the Palestinian children before, and he's dedicated, when he's won this Golden Boot trophy, he's actually dedicated it to them. Well, now he's back in the campaign to help the Rohingya children who fled from the torture and the terrible atrocities that are going on in Burmese. So and they're now in the camps in Bangladesh. So he tweeted out a very nice message, actually, which I'm going to read it, so I apologize. He tweeted out, "One world where we all love our children, please help Rohingya refugee." And then he added the link to Save the Children, because, as you know, Save the Children is a charity that are helping out many of the children in need around the world, including the ones in Yemen, including the Syrian children, and of course the Rohingya children who are in these camps. So he tweeted that out this week, and it just shows. I always, when you watch him on the pitch, I think you can say he can come across as a little bit, astaghfirullah, but arrogant. But I don't think he is at all, because when you see this great work that he's doing for charities, or for the oppressed people around the world, I think that really tells you how he is as a person, because he doesn't have to do that. He can use his status for anything. He can use his status to help children in Portugal, which I'm sure he does. But he actually uses his voice as a famous footballer, as a very well-known celebrity, to help these causes and these children who are really desperately in need of help and a life. And I think when celebrities do that, it's wonderful, because we can all sit here and say, they're celebrities, we shouldn't really be this much involved with them. And yes, this is correct to a point, but when it comes to the good work that a lot of them do, and a lot do it in private, by the way, this really, they can really spread the message what we really need. and the Rohingya, they really need this message. And to have such a powerful voice as Cristiano Ronaldo behind that message, he's making the world sit up and say, look, these kids are suffering and we need to do something about it. So all hats off to him, all due respect to him, and may he continue and may he be blessed as well. The last story I'm going to do is about one of the companions. Now, how many of you love the stories of the companions? I really love the stories of the companions. I like to learn about them. I mean, shouldn't we all? I mean, they are fantastic people in our history. My favorite, actually, story is Abu Bakr, but it's not the one I'm doing today. Actually, the one I'm doing today is Bilal ibn Rabah. And most of us know him for the main man of calling the azan. When he went to Medina, he stood on the mosque and he had the most beautiful voice, and he called the azan for the very first time with just his voice, and from then on. So from that alone, mashallah, he is very well known. But did you know that before he was free, he was a slave actually, and his mother was from Abyssinia, which is now Ethiopia, and she was a princess there. She was from a great family, and then his father was from he was an Arab, but he married, they became slaves somehow. Anyway, that was his life in the beginning, and he worked for one of the most notorious men against Islam at that time. And his name was Umayyah ibn Khalaf. And when he accepted Islam, Umayyah ibn Khalaf really he did these unspeakable things to Bilal. He beat him very badly. He dragged him around the town with a collar around his neck to try and humiliate him, to try and stop him from worshipping Allah. And he got people to insult him and spit on him and the worst things. And lastly, what they tried to do, all the time he just kept saying, one, or one God. And in the end, they decided, okay, this is enough. We're gonna do something to really break him, and they nearly killed him, and they put him out in the hot desert. So you imagine Saudi Arabia, how hot it is at this point. The sun is very hot. They made him lie on the hot sand, so this would have burned him, and then on top of him, they put a very big slab on top of his chest, which nearly killed him. But he carried on saying, the one, only one, only one. So his faith was unshakable, even in these circumstances. And then what we had was Abu Bakr. He couldn't stand it anymore, so he went to the man and he told him, "I'm going to buy him from you." And the man said, "How much do you want? I will give you 10 whatever their currency was at the time." And so he said, "Okay, I will pay it." And he was laughing and said, if you just negotiated a little bit more, you could have had him a lot cheaper. And Abu Bakr said, "I would have given you 100 for him, because he's much more worthy of anything." And once he bought him from him, he freed him. And then, when he went over to Medina, that's when we got to know about his beautiful voice calling the prayer to azan. So it's a really beautiful story. He's one of the most beloved companions. So go and check it out. Sister Tammy has already put it in the link, and you will. I think you will like it. Sheikh Omar Suleiman talks about him in the video, which is featured on there. So go ahead and have a look and check out our top stories, or the most positive stories that we liked this week. And just before you do that, I want to tell you something. As you know, Facebook are making a lot of changes these days because they want for us all to be more connected with our family and friends. So if you enjoy seeing our posts on the Facebook and you really enjoy and you want to see them first, because as you know, Facebook is altering the news feed, then you can go to your settings, adjust your text settings so it says see first, and of course select your favorite page, which inshallah is us. Of course you can select any other pages that you like as well, but this way that means you will see them first in your screen. And when you're searching through your newsfeed, you will be able to see us faster if you select us first. What Sister Tammy will do, it might take some time, but she's going to upload a video on the comments so that you can just click on there and you can find out how you can do that. So go ahead and please do it, and please keep us in your newsfeed so we can bring you these stories every day of the week, inshallah. You can follow us obviously on Facebook, which you must be doing if you're watching. You can follow us on Twitter, on Pinterest, on Google+. We have our own YouTube channel. Everybody go over there and check our own videos. We are putting all our own videos on there. We are doing at least 2 a week. So go over there and check out our videos. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on the ones that I've said. We're also on Instagram. And we have a Telegram channel as well. So if you don't always have time to look on the Facebook for the links, we put out 2 or 3 links on Telegram every now and again. So go ahead and subscribe to our Telegram. And check out our website as a whole. It's www.aboutislam.net. You will find stories from reverts. You will find stories of the companions of prophets, the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, Sharia, family and society news, as well as Muslim news that affects us around the world. So go over and check us out. We're waiting for you, and we're waiting for to see what you think. So inshallah, that's all for today. Next week Sister Tammy will be with you, and I will be moderating. So I hope to see you all then, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.